Hello, I thought today maybe I could try my hand at a makeup tutorial. I've never really done anything like this, but one thing I've noticed among a lot of the really popular beauty guru YouTubers is it seems kind of not feasible to have all of the items they have. I feel like they have an array of different options and I feel like not everybody is gonna have that. So I wanted to make a makeup tutorial that would be a little bit more easier for people like me to grasp, people that are, you know, maybe a little bit broke, maybe their skills aren't, you know, way up there into, you know, beauty guru levels, but I think everybody should be able to, you know, get creative, you know, get a little funky with their makeup. So that's what this video is pretty much going to be about. As you can see, I've got a little eyeliner and mascara on. I'm going to go ahead and take that off because I like to start with face makeup first and then eye makeup. I know some people like to do it vice versa, but not this girl, so BRB. Alright, so I'm back, fresh-faced and ready to rock and roll. So, one of the first steps and one of the most important steps that I think everybody should take is moisturizing. Down here in Florida, it's very humid and my skin just does not react very well to it. I always have dry, flaky skin. It's not fun when you go out and you look like a lizard. So just moisturize the heck out of your face. I like to use just regular Aveeno lotion on my face. There's not a lot of things that really work, but this is one of them. So I just take a little tiny bit. It's like a little pea-sized amount, and I do like that much for each part of my face. Right here in this little zone gets so dry and it looks terrible, so I make sure to like really focus right there. So now that I'm a little more moisturized, I'm gonna go ahead and take my primer. I'm using the Maybelline Baby Skin Primer. It was like $8, maybe 10, I'm not sure. I'll drop the cap. So I just mostly try and focus like right here because that's when you put the foundation on, that's where you're really gonna see pores being apparent. So right here, I kind of like guide it down my face. Do a little squeeze over here. It's just like this clear gel kind of stuff. I don't know if it's, I don't know. But I do a little bit on my forehead as well. So you just rub that in, like, great. So that looks fun and free and frisky. So after that, I jump right over to my foundation. I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way stuff. I don't know. You've probably seen it in Sephora. So basically the way that I approach putting on my foundation is I squirt a little bit on my hand, just like in the little nook and or cranny, whatever you want to call it. I take this like flat stippling brush, dab a little on there, just so it's like a little puddle, and then I just kind of do like little blotches on my face. It looks stupid now, but I feel like it helps me blend it all together better. Oh, lots of fun stuff. Make sure you do your ears. That's another spot where people can tell if you're really blending or not. And especially always blend where your jawline is, because that's like a big thing that I see people not doing, and it makes it really obvious that you're, you know, wearing heavy foundation. Pretty much after I get all the makeup on my face and I'm still looking all blotchy, I take this kind of rounder brush. I apologize for not knowing the names of any of these brushes. I don't have that many brushes to need to know the names of them. This is number 130 whatever that means. So anyway, I take this and I just kind of buff it out. Make sure everything starts to blend really seamlessly. Do my temples. Make sure you get that jawline, very important. I'm gonna move on to concealer. I use these little off-brand beauty blenders that my boyfriend got me for Christmas a couple years ago. I do like to wet them. I just run them under the sink and then squeeze out all the excess water. It makes it really easy to blend concealer in with the foundation, so I'm gonna go do that and be right back. So now my beauty blender thing is all nice and squishy and soft now. That's a perfect blending texture. For my concealer, I use the Tarte Shape Tape. It's a little spendy. Gosh, it's like $27, something like that. But I promise you, it is so good. And added bonus, it actually smells kind of nice. It kind of has like a dish soap smell, which I know isn't like, wow, dish soap, I love that smell. But it's better than what makeup usually smells like, which is just pure chemicals. So here's how I do my concealer. I do choose a shade that's a lot lighter than my natural skin tone on purpose, because these are areas that I want to highlight and purposely make them a little bit lighter. So I just do some dots kind of in a triangle shape under my eyes. Do a little bit of this on my forehead, then something similar on my chin. I just take my little sponge and I do a little patting action, just like this. Kind of brightens up this like bottom area, really covers up if you have like any dark circles. For me, a lot of times I'm covering up like old mascara that I like forgot to take off from the night before. I'm really bad at that. I like to go all the way up into like the little nook of my eye that, you know, where like the tear duct is. Okay, so it kind of looks weird right now. It's really bright in some places and not so bright in the others. But it all comes together, I promise. The next thing I'm gonna do is my eyebrows. For me, eyebrows are very intimidating. I just use this like little Dollar Tree eyebrow filler palette. I just kind of fill in the spots that are kind of bald. Like right here I have a scar, so I have to fill that in a bit. I like to use the dark shade for like the very tips of my eyebrows. I just use the little wonky little brush that they give me. Switch over to kind of the brown color here. Then I start to fill in the like front parts. Okay, so that's pretty much all I'm gonna be doing with my eyebrows. They're just a little bit darker than what I started with. That's really all I'm looking for. So the next step in my process, let me find it. Aha, here we go. Powder. So it's very important to do all of your creams, like your foundation and your concealer, first before you do any powder. If you try and do cream over powder, it's a nightmare. It's a mess. It gets like streaky. It just avoid it at all costs. So what I'm using here, it's this Kat Von D. It's a sample. It's not even the full size thing because I'm too cheap to go ahead and buy the full thing. I really like the product. I'll probably purchase the big one when I'm out of this one, but until then, I'm just gonna keep using that sample. So take a little bit of that in this kind of wider brush with the big fluffy top, and I just start kind of taking a little bit at a time. And basically what the powder is doing is combating the shine that you might see, especially if, you know, your foundation is kind of leaving you shiny. Throw on some good old setting powder and it'll just go away. And just very quickly, I'm gonna do just a really basic contour. I know contouring can get really complicated really fast, but that's not what we're here for. So I take this smaller brush. This one is Sephora. It's just called the small contour brush. Just take a little bit. This is the e.l.f. contour palette, by the way. It's like $4 or $5. It's very affordable. I take a little bit of this light brown color, and I just kind of start very lightly and gently. I like to also do a little bit on my forehead, right around here, around my widow's peak. My sister used to always make fun of me for having a widow's peak. So that's all I'm gonna do for contour. Very easy, very simple. Alright. Now it's time to get to the nitty gritty, the part that gets a little bit difficult for people, the eyes. So, just recently I have started using eye primer, and it has changed my life. I got this Maybelline Master Prime eye primer. I found it on clearance at Target for like $2 or something like that. Just keep an eye out for those spicy deals, you know what I mean? And you can get some of this stuff for pretty cheap. Really, what matters most is your technique. If you are just slapping everything on your face all haphazardly, then it's not gonna look great. But if you take the time to carefully put it on, use some little tricks and tips, some technique, then you can make, you know, a $10 foundation look like a $50 foundation. I'm gonna be using the Naked 2 Basics palette. It's, when they say basic, it's basic. It's just got like 6 kind of nude tones going from light to very dark. Always to start, no matter what palette I'm using, I always kind of use this like fluffy brush just to get like my whole eye covered. I'm gonna go ahead and use the Stark color just all over my eyelid. Make sure you pat off any excess pigment. So I got that on. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this smaller brush. It's called the Precision Shadow Brush. And I'm gonna do this color called Frisk. This middle one here. Just take a little bit of it, cover the top of the brush, and I'm just gonna start here in this corner. Blend everything. Blending is your friend. Always, always blend. If your eyeshadow is looking a little wonky at this point, like mine is here on this side, don't even stress it, because you can always blend some more. Next step, I'm going to take this Primal, kind of do the same thing, but I'm going to stay a little bit more in the corner, because it is getting a little bit darker. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going from the corner and up onto the crease. If you notice, I'm not going over in this realm. I want that to kind of be negative space. I don't want that to have really hardly any pigment on it. Just kind of really brightens up your eyes. And then darkening up the corner and the crease like this gives it depth. It's still looking a little choppy to me, so I'm gonna go back to that first brush that I used. And just keep blending. Blend it out even more, especially on this side. It really kind of got out of control. This kind of look is really good for just like any time, any occasion. It's very, very basic. I'm just gonna take a smidge of this Undone shade. I'm literally just taking the corner of the brush, just getting a little tiny bit of pigment. I don't want a lot. This particular shade is really dark, and I'm not trying to get a ton of black. So I'm just gonna take this and put it right into that corner. The other eye. That's it. That's that for the eyeshadow pretty much. So now that we're done with shadow, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to eyeliner. Eyeliner is something that I feel like a lot of people have expressed to me that they're not comfortable with. It's very intimidating for a lot of people. So I'm using the Kat Von D tattoo liner. This is the best thing I've found so far. It's about $20, which is definitely on the more expensive side, but one of these lasts me about a year, so I feel like it kind of is worth it for me. If it's not for you, do whatever you want, do whatever works for you. It is kind of that fine tipped pen. It has like little hairs. It's almost like a paintbrush. So I don't like to start all the way up. I start right where the natural crease of my eyelid is. Just start kind of small. It's better to start, I hit myself. It's better to start small and get bigger than to start out big and have like nowhere to go. So that's my word of advice on that. Always make sure to tight line your eyes. Basically what that is right where your eyelashes are like growing out of your eyelid. Go over that because it will be visible. If you don't, you'll have like a little line of negative space right there. And go for the little tail. And I just kind of continue to start small. I don't want to go huge. This is really the part where people start to get like frustrated, which is totally understandable. It sucks. And they're already looking pretty uneven, so that's fun. Okay, now this one's very round compared to this one, which is kind of at a little spike. And this like really is my process every time, just going back and forth, trying to correct whatever I just did. Whew, that's where it really gets nerve-wracking, is when you start to try and do like the little point. They look pretty even to me. I think this is about as good as I'm gonna get with these. So I'm satisfied with them. That's it. So next thing, do a little mascara because I have powder all over my eyelashes. It looks kind of weird. This is the Lash Paradise. A coworker of mine got me this. It's actually a dupe for the Too Faced BTS mascara. It's pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with it. I really like the brush. Okay, on to the next one. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the top lashes. I have very, very fine bottom lashes, so I tend to not spend a lot of time on them. I just very quickly go over them, just so you can actually see them. Otherwise, you literally can't even see that they exist. So that's that about that. Next thing I'm gonna do, highlight. I take a fan brush. This is Becca Pressed Skin Perfector. This is the Moonstone shade. Take my fan brush and I just take a little bit of it, fluff it around, and then I just kind of start brushing it over the cheekbones, do it into my temple, bring it all down. This particular shade isn't like majorly shimmery. I know some people like to go for that like blinding highlight, and trust me, there's days where I want to go for that. I want to blind some folks. For this look, I feel like it might be a little mismatched, but if you feel like you just love that highlight, do it. use your brightest one. Do a little on the tip of my nose. Do a little on my lip, a little on my chin. Okay, now we're talking. I'm gonna go ahead and use this Sephora liquid lipstick. It's very cheap, cream lip stain. This is in number 6. Doesn't even have a name, it's just number 6. I don't use lip liner. Well, actually I do. I have this Sephora Universal lip liner. It's just clear. It is very helpful, but you have to sharpen it, and I haven't gotten a hold of a sharpener to sharpen it, so I haven't been using it because I'm just a lazy bozo. So we're gonna use this. Okay, so there's that. It looks pretty cute, I think. And then finally, last step, get yourself a bottle of setting spray. I'm using the NYX Dewy Finish setting spray. It's like $9. It just makes everything lock in and not fall off or smear. So just let it sink in. And that's that's pretty much it. I don't think I left anything out. Let me know if you enjoyed this video, if you want to see something else. Put it in the comments if you have any questions about any of the products that I used, any techniques that I used. Let me know if there's any trends that you'd like to see done. But other than that, I hope you guys have a wicked day, and maybe I'll do another one of these. All right, see ya.